Alrighty y'all, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. It's your average driveway mechanic. Let's get into the video. So today we are replacing that noisy, leaky power steering pump. We're gonna first start off by popping the belt. That'll be a tensioner bolt that is a 15 mil. And you're just going to pull it up to the left, pull the tension off, and then slip the belt, your intake tubes, and disconnect those. Assuming you don't want to take this to a shop, have them empty it, pay for it, and then have them at the very end of the project fill it up and then pay for that, you'll want to just unbolt it and swing it backwards that way. So I've disconnected the intake tubes. For me, those are just flatheads. That's what I prefer to use. And then you got 410 mils. If you have OEM bolts and nobody's been in here, lost some, changed them out, the way that the lines are set and how it's soft here, it'll just comfortably fold backwards. And before you do, take your AC compressor and flip it over there. Don't forget to unplug the one little clip there. It'll just look something like this. So now you can work the bolts here. Should just be 3 of them. Looks like a 14 there. Alrighty, there you go. So before you fully remove the 3 14 millimeter bolts, you're going to want to remove the line. And I used a 19 millimeter wrench, which seemed to be a little bit big. I'm pretty sure it's an 18 millimeter, but I don't have an 18 millimeter wrench. And so I have to just, these are held in by maybe 3 threads each, the top 2. So I'll then take those out, and then you can see right here is the return line or the cooling line. And so you'll have to disconnect that, and then the power steering bracket and pump will just come off in one piece. I bought a pulley puller remover, or power steering pulley puller remover. I used the biggest adjustable wrench that I had, just to make things easy. And then on my 1/2 inch, I had a 5/8 socket. That's going to be a 17 millimeter. So now I broke all of these free. I just need to finish taking them out. So let me do that, and we can swap the new pump. Alrighty, so we've got the bracket a little bit more cleaned up than it was previously. Go ahead and check out our other parts. So here's the new power steering pump. We've got some fluid for a little transmission fluid service here. Got that Lucas power steering fluid, some 3/8 power steering fluid, safe line or hose, and then the clamps that go with the hose. So let's go ahead and bolt the new power steering pump onto the bracket, and then we will attach the pulley, the power steering pump, go from there. So I've got the bolts tightened. That is going to be a 17 millimeter, and all that I did was just use the bracket and the truck bed to my advantage. Hopefully you use your truck as a truck. If not, you're gonna go have to find a workbench or something. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll take the pulley, we'll put the pulley installer on, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so in case you were wondering what the torque spec was for the bolts that hold the power steering pump onto the bracket, they'll stop turning. The power steering pump is got steel threads with steel bolts, so you'll know when it stops. You might be asking, okay, what's the torque spec on the bracket to the block? Same thing. And then whatever your setup is for a 14 mil. And then you'll just go ahead and tighten them by hand first, start them by hand, and then use the ratchet to tighten them by hand. And then after they're all tightened by hand with the ratchet, then you'll get the breaker bar out, and your little add some leverage tool, whatever that looks like for you. And you'll just go until it stops. You'll feel it when you're just tightening it, and then it'll slow down, and then you'll feel like you might break something. And by that point, you know how long you've been tightening it with it being tight. So it just kind of slows down and feels like you might break the bolt. This is aluminum steel bolts into aluminum threads. So this, you're just going to go until tight, and then maybe a little bit more snug. So let me finish tightening these down. Of course, you'll start them by hand, so that way you don't cross thread anything. I guess we already started this one. So go ahead and just keep doing a little bit, get them started. You can see that there's no pressure. You know you're not cross-threading it. If you cannot do this, you should clean the threads on your bolts, or make sure you're not cross-threading it. Alright, so as you can see here, we're gonna do it in a cross-directional pattern. So you can see, boom, now we're snug, and we're holding it up by the head of the ratchet. Go ahead and we'll get snug. Come up here and give it, I don't even know if that's a quarter turn. Still in a cross directional pattern. Now you can go back and just check them. And you're just doing enough force to feel if the bolt will turn or not. You're not trying to tighten it more. While it will tighten more, that's not what your goal is. So all of those are perfect. Make sure you clip your AC compressor sensor back in, as well as your power steering sensor back in. And then if you did not already hook your hose up, and take out the blue plug for that, the blue plug for the cap as well. You're gonna need your old cap, so keep that or buy a new one. And then you're also going to have a plug on the bottom if you did not already hook your return hose back up. So now we'll go ahead and reattach the intake tubes. Alrighty y'all, and with the intake tubes hooked back up, that's going to conclude this YouTube video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Y'all have a good one. Peace.